Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Happy balmy Tuesday for now and freezing Tuesday for later. There, we've covered everything.
And make sure your hatches are battened down for later tonight.
How many knots is that wind?
I blame Tom Skilling.
45.
Yeah, well, do you know Tom Skilling was going out with a bang?
Yeah.
It has to be
Mother Nature
tornadic
is like,
blizzards.
Let me tell you guys, we've got quite a storm brewing up here in the Midwest.
Mother Nature is like, all right, I'm going to send you out in fashion, in style.
We've got
he is
a lot
thrilled.
Of big hail coming in this afternoon, and then we have potential for tornadic activity in the suburbs. And after that, we're going to get a cold shot, and the temperature's going to fall into the 30s tomorrow.
We should put him on camera. I mean, if he's here, we might as well throw him on camera. No, that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. But yeah, he's excited, and I'm not. I just want something. Decide something.
Pick a lane.
I don't know how to dress every day.
Pick a lane, Mother
ridiculous.
Nature.
It's fine, guys.
It's February. Let it be February.
It's fine.
I don't
It's
want it
fine.
to be May in February.
It'll all be over in 50 years anyway.
Sure.
You don't have to worry about it.
That's too long.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Come on,
Lots to get to
Yellowstone
today.
volcano.
No more nonsens, guys. Get serious. This is hockey.
Stop
Seriously,
the
guys.
damn
Jesus, stop
Skilling
grab-assing.
impressions.
Leave the grab ass for
My
tomorrow.
Lord. We're going to cover what happened in practice today. We got Andreas Athanasiou fully participating in practice.
Yeah, he was
You'll
out there.
hear from Luke Richardson, and then we're going to wrap up what remains of our mailbag questions, which are plentiful. So let's get right to it. Got to the rink this morning and saw Athanasiou out there in the white jersey, and at first kind of participating in some skating drills, saying, all right, I don't know if he's going to fully participate, but he was in there. He was participating in every part
Took
of what
rushes.
was happening in practice today.
Yeah, he was in every drill. Took some rushes. He's as participated as fully as he has in months. So it was a good sign, and very quickly he was back to normal. It seemed.
Yeah. He's in mid-season form. You'll know what we mean if you've watched him before. But it's good to see him out there. As much as we all know, Andreas Athanasiou really isn't a difference maker on most teams, but on this team he is.
Not a
He's
game,
a huge
game
difference
breaker.
maker in this
but
team.
He
yeah.
is not going to save the season. He's not going to help them go on a 12-game winning streak. But he is going to give them NHL speed, exceptional NHL speed. He's going to be able to then put guys in proper places better. Guys don't have to play top six when they have no business being top six. I mean, you can argue that Athanasiou isn't a top six player, but he is on this team.
On this team, yeah. Right.
So I don't know. We were all watching him, and we were like, "Oh God, he's totally playing Thursday." But
There's no way.
He kind of pumped the brakes on that a little bit, saying he still needs. He's still not 100%, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's out there Thursday.
I would be shocked.
Even with that, I mean, 2 full practices, morning skate. It's not like these were the first days. He's been skating for a month. Like, the conditioning is there.
Yeah.
It's just his faith in his.
Well,
in the grind.
yeah, and we're going to get to Luke here in a minute, but that's kind of what he said. Is like there's still a little bit of a hesitance from Athanasiou to like really attempt a burst or hit a sharp turn because he doesn't really trust it yet. And we did, although he was participating in practice, he was not going at the same intensity of the other players on the ice, and it was a very intense. It was a long practice. It was very intense. All the drills were fast-moving and, physical and all those things. And he was in them, but he was sort of keeping his distance and not engaging as fully as the other guys. So I thought maybe early Thursday would look like a return, but I think he's still got a ways to go. And even hearing from him today, if you want to hear what he had to say, it's on the CHGO Blackhawks Twitter account. He still sounded like he had, for his own mental well-being, he felt like he had a little bit more to go before he's ready to come back.
Yeah.
Gamesmanship.
And don't Yeah, and don't, there's nothing he needs to rush back for. Like we need him to be fully healthy if he's going to be here, rather than jump into the lineup early. Oh shoot, tweak something, and now you don't see him enough for another month or so, and he goes into the off season with injury issues. Like, make sure he's fully ready to go, and trusts his body that it's going to respond the way it wants to, or that he wants it to. And then you get the most out of him towards the end of the season. He's not rushing back to help them for a playoff push or anything, so let his body heal up.
Yeah, he needs to feel 100% ready to go, and you could tell watching him and listening to him that he's not quite there yet. And it's always interesting. We heard it earlier this year from Colin Blackwell, who also dealt with a frustrating, lingering long injury, and Athanasiou was saying it today, how frustrating and lonely it can be.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just sitting at home on the couch, and I'm just like lost in thought, and I'm in pain. I don't really know what the future holds, and I think sometimes we lose sight of the fact that these guys are people, and once the game's over, they go home. They've got girlfriends, families, whatever, and it's tough. And he mentioned when he saw all those, the Hawks had like 9 guys on IR at once, feeling that helplessness of, man, I can't get out there and help, and I have no clue when I'm going to be able to help again.
Yeah.
You feel for these guys, and yeah, they're well paid and all those things, but it's got to be tough, and he acknowledged it. He said so. Yeah,
I mean, to not be able to play hockey as a hockey player is challenging, because it's like, what else do you what else do you do? What else do you have interest in? And just sitting at home and not being able to be on the road with the guys, be in the locker room, be on the ice, be on the bench, like not have any of that, not have your normal routine that you've had as a professional for so many years, like it can turn things on its head.
Well, here's something. Thursday, Avalanche are in town. Probably won't play, but again, if he's out there, I'm going to be like, aha, I told you so. Then Saturday, it is Saturday, right? Yes, Saturday, the Ass Jackets are in town. The revenge game. So say he doesn't play those 2 games, he wants to get a few more days. Then they go on the road, 3 straight. Monday, Colorado, Tuesday, Arizona, and then next Saturday, Washington. Do you realize the last time Andreas Athanasiou played was November 9th at the Tampa Bay Lightning? Mm-hmm. That is also the last time the Blackhawks won a road game.
That is crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
Maybe
That's insane. Wow.
He is why they can't win on the road. So save him for that Colorado game. If he comes back and the losing streak is snapped, there's the mystery.
That's interesting, yeah.
That is unreal.
That's what is it, 21 straight?
21 in a row.
That is
the only reason it's
insane.
not more, they've only had 1 road game this month.
Right, yeah. That's crazy.
Holy cow.
That's crazy. Hey, at least they, win some games at home.
Yeah.
Some.
I mean, they had, They were doing good on the road up until then. They won in Pittsburgh.
Well, they only had,
they
5
won
road
in
games.
Vegas.
Yeah.
They won in Tampa. There it is. The season ended when Andreas Athanasiou fell awkwardly.
He was
in Tampa.
He was the key piece.
Obviously. They need to lock him up. Long-term, 10-year contract.
All right.
Just for road games, though.
Just for, yeah.
That's it. All right, so only $5 million, But, all right, let's get to Luke Richardson. Not only was Athanasiou a topic, he talked about Conor Murphy's health, Nikita Zaitsev's health, and offered some insight on how Connor Bedard is growing as a leader. Good stuff. Here is Blackhawks head coach Luke Richardson.
Athanasiou didn't have a game targeted quite yet, but do you guys have one?
No, haven't talked to him after today, but it was great to see him. That was kind of even more up-tempo of a practice and some physicality, and he was involved in all of it. So it was good to see, but I don't have a timetable yet.
How's Conor Murphy doing?
It was slower than I thought it would be, but I think it's just that's what the protocol he's got to take. So not on the ice yet. So in the gym though, definitely, and ramping things up there. So that's good. And then I'm not sure. I don't have a timeline on progression to the ice. I think Zaitsev was out there today for the first time, which was good. But that'll still be a while because he's coming off a pretty severe knee injury. So no timeline on him, but he at least made the step. Now he's graduated on his own on the ice. Murphy's not there yet.
Athanasiou was talking about dealing mentally with the injury, the long layoff, and sitting on the couch, nothing but his thoughts and feeling the pain. Have you ever dealt with something like that, or?
No, I don't think so. I think anything I've had is pretty clear timeline. So, yeah, that could be definitely a long time when there's uncertainty of what it is exactly or how they're going to approach fixing the problem. So, I know he kind of ended up going back and seeing a guy that he had. I don't think it was exact same injury, but same area of the body that he kind of went back to that guy that he had that injury in LA. So I think he was comfortable with that, and that's kind of led us to here. And being on the ice is great, but I was watching him, and I think the mental part of it as well is getting over the hurdle. He's worried about re-injuring it again, which I think the doctors feel that he's at the point where he can go full out. It's just going to be him pain comfort level doing it. But I think today, even watching him, I could tell he's still watching himself on the quick, like on a stop start. I could see in his face and body language. So that's going to be a mental hurdle to get over as much as getting back into shape.
How much have you missed his speed, particularly on the zone entries, the power play?
Yeah, even on a drill today we did with it's kind of work on your defense and then you go to the offense and out. He had a couple just quick stick skill plays, and just once he's moving, he has such good glide that he kind of snuck into a few areas and had a couple good plays there today, and then just in a drill. So, I saw that and I'm like, oh yeah, we do miss that in the game. He's, he had 20 goals last year, but he probably could have had closer to 25, 30 easily on the opportunities that he created on breakaways or turnovers in the O-zone just with his speed. So that speed is the way the game's played now, and I think he could be an integral part for sure. And you know what, he can play. I thought at the end of last year, playing in the middle, he really worked on his defensive game, and he was in good position a lot. So, and he doesn't need to cheat for speed for sure. So I think he understood that. So I think for him coming back, once he's able to play, I think that should be able to help to fall back on as well once he comes back in here.
I'm trying to think back. There was no hint of this before that game on the 9th of November.
No, but he did say, I think he stepped on a puck or stick in training camp, and he did something, in one of his lower body on one of the legs, and he said it kind of was there for a while, and it was getting better, but then he did something in that game in Tampa, right? That's in Tampa game. And I remember he did something early in the game, and he went down the tunnel and got checked, and came back, and in the second period, I think he had a partial break, and if it was any other game and he was healthy, he would have had a breakaway, and I could see him kind of almost wincing going down the ice and one-legging, and he had to kind of veer off to the left and just fling a shot at the net. Otherwise, most nights he would have been in clear cut. So, I think it trickled in. Minor injury in training camp, kind of fought through it and settled down, and then just kind of made it worse and did it again that game. So, not out of nowhere, but definitely I didn't think it was that severe for sure.
In the fall, I asked you about Bedard's leadership, and have you seen any growth in that since he came back, or is he still kind of doing the same thing where it's not a lot like group talking, but more one-on-one, just little tips to guys?
Yeah, I think he's he's pretty quiet, but he's engaged on the ice when they'll have meetings before a face-off, and I'm sure he's taking charge there. And same as on the power play, deciding where they want to start out. And even in practice today, I noticed them really taking charge in leadership or kind of maturity too, right? In the same area, like going hard today after a day off, and really showing that he wants to progress and push, and the back checking in a drill that you're never going to catch the line, that because I blow the whistle a little bit early, they take the shot and he had his head down back checking all day. So that, to me, that's leadership, showing that you're working the hardest in practice. And, I think, he does stuff on his own. He likes to go, he's here all day after the guys leave, and he's in the shooting room and stuff like that. He does stuff, and I think he's just done that his whole career, his whole life. And so that's something that I think will trickle in, and then other people will start maybe doing stuff with him as he creates those relationships with each other. But, to me, I think he's just driven to play, and he's a quiet guy. So, the leadership skills are just going to come in time. But today was just a good example to me of him learning that, I'm not just going to feel my way into a practice after a day off. He's going to skate the hardest in the first 2 drills, so that was great to see.
Have you seen an incline in just his physicality too? I know we're talking about the cane head, but a couple games ago, the Jets game, he just didn't back down. What have you seen there?
Yeah, and I thought even before the Jets game, I thought even skating harder on the forecheck, kind of like earlier in the year when he had a couple steals and makes teams pay. I think that's where he's going to be really dangerous, and learning kind of when he can do that and when maybe to kind of not back off, but maybe have to pull out and be that F3 for us to have a deep pinch or something. And I was just seeing, growth in his game, just watching the game yesterday again, just defensively. Like there's a couple times where he might leak out of a spot in the defensive zone that we kind of need our players in. But he's learning that, and I see his head turning around looking, and I saw a couple times where he's in the perfect spot. Where earlier in the season, he was really trying to go get that puck all over the ice and just take off. So he's getting a little bit more patience in his game at this level, and the pucks will come to him in the right spots, and then we know that he can make something happen when that happens.
Athanasiou had those numbers last year, but there has been kind of a track record of having a difficult time of really how to utilize him. Do you feel like it's kind of a mischance with possibly experimenting him with Bedard right now with Athanasiou being out? Yeah,
and maybe it's not even full time, but even in a game, throwing him out there a couple shifts, if one of them's going or the other one, both of them are really going, I think it could be really dangerous and back teams off. If it's an aggressive team, maybe it'll back them off a little bit, that we can make plays underneath. It's definitely something that we thought about going into the season. We just didn't really get there yet, but especially with Taylor Hall being out, obviously the rest of the year, that would have been probably a big help to have another option to do that.
Athanasiou had a lot of chemistry with Reichel last year. Does his arrival make you think twice about when you bring him back?
You know what? I think it's a good question, because that's what we wanted to see at the beginning of the year. We just didn't see that spark at the beginning of the year, for whatever reason, and kind of went away from it. But it's something that we could have always went back to, I think, especially when we were trying Lucas at the center and then move him to the wing. It would have been an easy move. Unfortunately, we didn't have him, and now if he comes back, Lucas is working on his game. And I talked to Anders down there the other night, and he had a good first period the other night, and then the second period maybe wasn't quite as strong. So it's just getting his confidence level back up for a whole game and get him on a roll. So maybe it's going to be about the right timing that both happen, and that would be great, because we do know that there was some chemistry, and that's not just luck. If it was a bit of a sustained time, so I think that's something to revisit when the time's right for both of them. Yeah.
There he is, the always insightful Luke Richardson. I like the stuff about Bedard kind of growing as a leader, and I don't think he's ever going to be like your Brent Seabrook vocal leader type of guy. I think he's going to be the more, as Luke kind of said, lead by example kind of thing.
Yeah, he's going to be the guy that you're not going to want to piss off or disappoint in the locker room. Kind of like Jonathan Toews, where like Seabrook was famously the guy that would be the rah-rah guy, the vocal guy, where Toews would be the guy that'd be like getting mad at you if you screwed up a drill.
He also had Toews, and I think Bedard has this too, where I am the most talented and I am the hardest working. What is your excuse?
Right.
If I'm the best player on this team and I'm out here before you and I'm out here after you, you can certainly do more. Now, I don't think Conor Bedard's going to be the kind of guy that says you have to have the level of commitment I do. But if guys are there, practice is 11, or on the ice at 10:59 and off at 12:01 or whatever it might be, where Bedard's there from 10 till 3.
He's turning on the lights at the joint.
Yeah, really. Like today,
he was still in the other rink.
He went to another rink.
He went to the other rink, and he had Mackenzie Entwistle and Philip Kershev still with him. The three of them were just on the ice.
And I saw they took a chopper to the Edge in Bensonville, because that was a fresh sheet. Then they're going to take that back to Johnny's and then land back at Fifth Third. It's just, and look, I know that sometimes that can be met with an eye roll. If you talk to actual teammates of Rudy Rudiger, they'll tell you that he was effing annoying and it was like way too much. And it's like,
but he also wasn't the best player on the team.
Right, yeah. But I don't think that's the expectation. No one is saying be like Bedard, but when you've got, the point is, when you've got your best player putting in the most work, if you're part of that team, you kind of have to say, all right, I have no excuse here. I have to do it too.
Yeah, I mean, and you've seen it with the guys that stay out on the ice after practice with him, it's mostly all of the younger guys that are kind of building this little group. Him and Khrushchev, Reichel when he was here, Korchinski, Vlasic, like they're guys that stay out later after the practice and work. And that's kind of the culture and mindset that next group is trying to build, and they're learning from guys, more veteran players that are on this roster about other aspects of things. But as time has gone on this season, that young group has kind of started to build their own tendencies, and those things eventually should translate to more development, more success, and they're doing it kind of as a group. But Bedard is clearly the guy at the front of things.
Yep. All right, why don't we take our first break, and then when we come back, we're going to get to the rest of your mailbag questions for your match today, and there's also a couple in the chat that are a little bit adjacent to what we're talking about, so we'll do our best to get to those as well. But Mario, are you ready? Is your throat ready?
Can we just play yesterday's clip? Like,
it's funny. So I am going to
set the bar.
I'm going to clip
Monday,
that
man.
off. I meant to clip that off before, but I guess you could just do it better today, and we'll clip that one instead.
Hey,
fire it up.
Dig your own hole, man.
My coffee hasn't hit this morning.
It was like your grave digger.
Sure. There you go. Hey, do you like monster trucks?
No, this is not good enough. I will not accept this.
Do you like jamming? Do you like monster jams?
You just got jammed.
Brother. Ew. Man, it is. The coffee today is.
I don't want your excuses.
We talked about yesterday.
Conor Bedard
no excuses. Play like a champion.
Yes,
he's not here.
You're lucky.
Hey, Connor, come do this monster jam read for me. Show me
you
how
do
it's
it with
done.
his jaw wired shut.
Yeah. Coffee is just not hitting me this morning. All right.
You got it.
Monster Jam. Monster Jam, the most unexpected, unscripted, and unforgettable motorsports experience for families and fans in the world today, returns to Chicagoland for an adrenaline-charged weekend at the All-State Arena from March 1st through the 3rd. This weekend, the world's best drivers show off crazy skills in all-out racing and fierce head-to-head battles for the event championship. Engineered to perfection, the 1,200-pound Monster Jam trucks push all limits in freestyle skills, donuts, and racing competitions. Appreciate that. The Arena Series West champion will receive a highly coveted automatic bid to the prestigious Monster Jam World Finals to compete for the title of World Champion. See world-class athletes in action performing the craziest stunts in motorsports. Experience big-time family fun at Monster Jam. Unexpected, unscripted, unforgettable. This is Monster Jam. See it live at the All-State Arena March 1st through the 3rd. This weekend. Link for tickets is in the description.
Nice,
brother.
Well done. Good job.
Do we want to do another Monster Jam trivia?
Sure.
12 feet.
We did tall. Wait. Here. Okay. How many truckloads of dirt are needed to set up a track for one Monster Jam event?
God.
100,000.
47.
That would take forever.
That's a lot.
I'll go with
It's
47.
really small.
I'm gonna say.
It's at least 500.
I'm gonna say 350.
Yeah.
A stadium will use 500 truckloads of dirt. An arena, much like the All-State Arena, will use over 100 truckloads of dirt.
Must be big trucks.
That's a lot of dirt.
Monster trucks.
I always think about that, and then they vacuum it out. Why don't they get rid of it?
I don't know. There's no answer to that.
Like some guy with a wet dry vac.
That is yeah. How do you remove all that? That's crazy.
Glad that's not my job.
Yeah,
that's for sure. All right, let's tear open our bursting sack.
Hold on.
Sorry.
You got so excited.
I'm sorry. You forgot yesterday. I thought you forgot again.
No, I did my read yesterday. It was just not the right one.
We'll go with it. My sack is bursting.
Well, that sounds. I got nothing.
I don't either.
Hey, I bet you there's going to be a lot of Chevys at that Monster Jam, both on the track and in the parking lot.
It's true.
And Ray Chevrolet is sharing their best offers all month long with their auto show sales event. Make your way to Ray Chevrolet on Route 12 in Fox Lake to join in on all the savings. As one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. Plus, you'll find the perfect tailgate vehicle at Ray Chevy because they're offering 0% financing for 72 months on new Silverados with over 100 available right now. To top it all off, they're pricing over 125 vehicles under $20,000. Seriously, guys and girls, can pricing get more affordable? I don't think so. I know everybody loves the word free, and that's what you're going to get all month long at Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake. A free oil change. Is not as exciting as monster trucks, but it's still free. All you need to do is mention CHGO and schedule your oil change. Start the new year off right and schedule it by February 29th. That's like 2 days from now, so hurry up. Visit Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Find new roads.
All right, now we can access the bag o' mail.
Yes.
Law, do the honors, please.
Okay, let's start with... Oh, well, we were just talking to Luke, so let's get this dumb one out of the way. From, who knows what this person's name is, because they've got a different name, and they're at... Whatever. Anyways,
that sure looks like a real account to me.
Yeah. Yes. When are the Hawks going to pull the plug on Richardson?
John Van 098997.
Wait,
when you get more
are the
numbers
Hawks
in you.
going to pull the plug on Richardson?
Well, he's not on life support.
Jesus Christ.
Never. He's coach for life, just to piss you off.
Next.
Arma, fake person.
Next.
More like peanut.
Next.
All right. Is that it? Never mind.
All right, now this
okay.
Oh, yeah.
I know not everyone is as plugged in to the Blackhawks as us and our diehards, and someone might be listening to us for the first time. So to educate, Luke Richardson, as much as you may hear it from people like John Van bunch of numbers, he's not on the hot seat. His expectations are not to win with this group of misfits. No. This is a long-term plan, and Kyle Davidson brought in Luke Richardson to grow as a head coach in his first long-term head coaching position. And he is not just holding the spot until Coach XYZ is here to contend and bring the Blackhawks over the hill. This is Luke Richardson, the bridge head coach to contention, and the head coach for when this team is supposed to be a contender. And he will be a seasoned head coach at that time.
Also, if you're blaming anything that's happening to the Blackhawks on Luke Richardson, you don't know the game. I'm not trying to be sure, you can quibble with should he have taken a timeout here or there? Should Conor Bedard have started overtime? All these sort of things. But guess what? 2 games in a row, the game went to overtime. 1 game Bedard started, 1 game he didn't, and they lost both.
Right.
Like, in very similar fashion. This roster would not win the Calder Cup. They might contend for the Calder Cup. They probably wouldn't win it.
Yeah.
It's just not a good team.
You can't just look at the standings and say the coach is the problem. It's the players. Yeah. You want to talk about, his lineup changes. Which fourth line should he mix up? The fourth one, the third one, the second one?
Right.
Like, it's there is so much that the expectations should come when the team doesn't have half AHL or NHL AHL tweeners.
Right.
So
no, the pressure will start when there's some actual expectations to win in a real NHL roster.
Yeah.
Then we can start being more critical, more worried about things. But the fact that Luke Richardson hasn't completely flipped out and started throwing punches at us in the press room shows that he's got the right demeanor for this job when things are good.
Yeah. And it's true. He's learning on the job, too. He's acknowledged it as much. But if you listen to the guy talk, every decision he makes has a reasonable explanation behind it.
Right.
He's not just throwing darts at a wall.
Whether you agree with the decision or not, at least he tells you why he made it.
Yeah.
And 99% of the times, it makes sense. We're like, okay, I don't agree with you did that, but
I get that.
I understand why you did it, though.
Right. There's some people sort of taking issue with him taking Foligno off the Bedard line and putting Beauvillier up there and saying Beauvillier hasn't done anything. Well, he's clearly trying to get Beauvillier going. And I will say, in the games he's played with Bedard, he has certainly looked better. He's been more noticeable.
He's trying to get more speed with Bedard and Kurashev.
Yes.
Which, as we know from Connor, Nick Foligno is slow.
Yes.
Out of the mouth of babes.
Those are Connor's words, not mine, Nick.
Kids say the darndest things.
And
so plus, Nick Foligno has a better chance of producing on the third line with those types of players than Anthony Beauvillier would.
Like you talked about with Athanasiou.
Mm-hmm.
Putting
it
players,
bumps them in their proper
putting players
spots.
in positions to succeed. Yes, we know Nick Foligno has been good with Connor Bedard, but maybe over time Anthony Beauvillier could be better. Maybe not.
Maybe.
But
Who
the only
knows?
way to do it is try.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Right. It's not like the Hawks are, ripping off
This isn't
blowout victories with Nick Foligno on the top line.
Right.
Yeah. This isn't the 2013 Blackhawks, and they are out of the playoff picture, and then you question the coaching abilities of, at the time, Joel Quenneville. This is a team that is not expected to do anything.
Right.
All right, let's move on.
All right, now that we got that stupid one out of the way, let's go to Alberto Vitale. And he says, it's looking like the Hawks will have a quiet trade deadline, but with Tyler Johnson and Colin Blackwell looking like the most likely to get traded based on some insiders, what kind of return would you want for both to ship them out?
I want all your first round picks.
Yeah.
It's
Temper
not
your
what we want,
expectations.
it's what you're going to get.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
expect much.
It's not going to be. I would say third round picks max. You're probably eating half of Tyler Johnson's contract too
Yeah.
for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
which is fine. Who cares? It's not a big deal.
$2.5 million for.
But it's
Maybe that eating half that salary can get you a conditional second round
Sure.
pick where
Maybe.
if you win if the team he goes to wins the first round, it gets bumped
they
up to
play
a second.
and they play in the conference final.
Yeah,
all
however
that
stuff
yeah.
works. Colin Blackwell, man, if you get a third round pick for him, you're doing cartwheels. That's a great return for him.
Yeah.
And if you don't trade him because you think he's worth more value to your team for the rest of this season than the sixth round pick you're being offered for him, then you keep him.
The Blackhawks are I'd say it's more likely that their best potential return at this trade deadline is by helping facilitate in a 3-team trade than what you may get for a Colin Blackwell or Tyler Johnson.
Right.
Yeah. And there was a comment earlier I saw as we were starting the show mentioning Conor Murphy. Yeah, this is from Phil McCracken. Says, I've been spending a lot of time on Cap Friendly for fun. Lots of interesting trades I can see the Hawks doing. One I like is Murphy to Toronto for Gregor, a great right-handed prospect, RHD prospect, Niemela, and a 2024 first. Guys,
Jesus Christ.
Conor Murphy is damaged goods.
He's dead right now.
Even at full health, the
Yeah,
best you're getting
no.
for Conor Murphy is a second round pick. And you take that and you run.
Yeah, that is you're not getting that for Conor Murphy. You're not getting that for Conor Murphy 2 years ago, not let alone now. And Toronto here, this is going to be the other thing that needs that's going to make this trade deadline very, very interesting. There are a lot of teams with either no cap space or no draft capital or both that are going to be looking like I don't think the Florida Panthers have a pick in the next 9 drafts. Like it certainly doesn't.
Are the Panthers in that spot? I thought the Lightning were.
Lightning don't have a lot of draft picks to give up. The Panthers gave up a ton of draft picks, in the past. I don't think they have a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you might be right.
The Maple Leafs don't have next year's
The
draft.
Blackhawks have Maple Leafs.
They used to have a first round pick this year.
This year.
They have the 2025 pick.
They don't have 2025, so they're not trading that if they can get away
Oh,
with it.
yeah. Florida, no first round or second round this year, no first round next year.
Yeah, so who exactly are they getting this trade deadline unless they get creative?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they have a great I don't think they have like AHL guys that are worth a first round pick to be out there. So it's going to be
Mackie Samoskevich?
I'd take him. I don't think it's going to be a crazy trade deadline because a lot of the teams that are going to look to upgrade, you look at Boston.
Yep.
Boston needs something. They have not been very good lately. They are rapidly falling back to earth. The Panthers have caught them and passed them.
Are they F words?
They are F words. You can choose whatever F word you want.
Crowds?
But what do they have to trade? They don't have a lot of capital. They don't have a lot of cap space. They're saying they may trade Linus Ullmark in order to get another player.
Yeah,
to help him out.
as much as Allmark and Swayman are a great duo, when you have two starting caliber goalies, you
can
have
trade one to
that's
get,
a
you can get rid
luxury.
of one.
Yeah, you can trade one to get something you don't have.
No first, second, or third round pick this year for Boston. No second round pick next year.
So, like, these teams are going to have to get creative, and that's where the Blackhawks might be able to sweep in and make things interesting.
Boston also projected cap space $61,000. That's not going to afford an NHL player on that.
When you have no
on that
draft
cap
capital and you have no cap space,
that means
you have to get
means
crazy.
NHL players are moving off your roster. Yeah.
So do the Blackhawks come in and say we'll take a bad contract off you to help you clear some cap space for you to make a bigger trade? We'll see what happens.
Who's a bad contract on the
Milan Lucic.
Bruins?
David Pastrnak. They should get rid of that
he's
contract.
sad.
Well, that's the thing is
he
you're
makes
looking
way
like
too
That's a
much
horrible
money.
deal.
Yeah, we'll give him a 7th round pick.
Derek
to take that
Forbeau,
contract.
$3 million.
Ugh.
Get rid of that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are
because
some
most
teams-
of the guys that would give them cap relief are guys that are also going to help them.
right. Yeah.
So it's
So you're kind of in an odd spot. But hey, that's when a team like Chicago with all their cap space, that's where
Kyle,
you try and capitalize.
Despite not
try
having
and take advantage of a team.
Despite not having a lot of guys to physically trade, Kyle Davidson's phone is going to be very busy that week because it's going to be a lot of, hey, can you take this contract off of our hands?
Right.
What will it take? Because we have this particular trade worked out with this team, but we can't afford it. What can we give you with this player?
We'll give you a 5th round pick next year for picking up an extra $2 million on your
Yeah,
on your
or
cap or
we want to
whatever.
get rid of this contract. Will you take this guy's deal for this year, next year, like they did with Zaitsev? If we throw in, a 2nd round pick or our top AHL prospect, something like that. They're going to be involved in a lot of trades. Not necessarily making much, but he's going to be on a lot of 3-way calls.
Why not?
Before the end of the trade deadline.
Sometimes you have to pay extra for those.
all right. Let's do
All right,
one more
let's-
before we got to
especially
take
in
another
Canada.
break.
Yeah,
here.
let's do another trade question. This is from Colby Young. And
Yes.
Colby says, is there any thought of trading for Zegras as another young guy to pair up with Bedard and
Greg,
others?
your favorite topic.
No, I don't know why Blackhawk fans are obsessed with Trevor Zegras. First of all, the Ducks, he's not on the market, at least not yet. I know he's exciting.
Ask Montreal fans; they're all in on him too.
I know he's exciting. He's having issues staying on the ice, and when he has been on the ice this year, he's been bad. He's been Lucas Reichel bad.
Unproductive.
Not a lot of points. Trevor Zegras, Luke Richardson would hate Trevor Zegras.
I don't know if he would hate Trevor Zegras. I think he would be a player that he would have to get creative on how to connect with him.
Yeah, I don't think Trevor Zegras fits the kind of mold Kyle Davidson is looking to build. He's young, he's fast, he's got skill.
Look, man. If Anaheim is soured on Trevor Zegras, I'm picking up the phone and asking. The guy has too much talent to just be like. Pfft.
It doesn't hurt to ask. Yeah, I agree, but I also think
He's
Anaheim.
22.
I also think Anaheim's just not letting him go.
I wouldn't think so, but there's a lot of smoke there.
So, it's going to cost you. You're not winning that deal, if that makes sense. Like, you're giving up something very important to get him.
But this is where you talk about the Hawks having these draft assets. Like, they've got almost too many picks. Kyle Davidson said it himself. Like, you can't have unlimited draft picks. Like, it sounds great and everything, but like at some point, if they hit, you're screwed. You got too many players. You only have so many spots you're able to carry. So, I don't know. Like, the idea of Trevor Zegras on a line with Connor Bedard is very tempting. And no, he's not a perfect player by any means. And yes, like Riley says, he's one-dimensional. He's 22. You can coach him into being a better player. I don't know he's having one bad year in which he's hurt. I don't know why all of a sudden Trevor Zegras is it's like albatross guy who will never be anything more. He's 22. He's got 146 points in 200 games. He's having a down year this year. He's been hurt, but last year he had 65 points in 81 games. The year before, 61 points in 75 games, and 13 and 24 his rookie year. He has been a producer, and the sample size is he's got 3 years of being not close to point per game, but a dependable scorer in a down year where he's been hurt all year.
A 60-point producer as in your early 20s is like that's pretty good. Yeah.
I don't look. I get like there was a lot of hype around him, and then he has struggled this year. So there's a lot of people that are like, ugh, cancer, bad guy. Screw that. If Anaheim's going to be dumb enough to give up on Trevor Zegras, I am happy to accommodate that error. I'm sorry.
My thing is this: when I listen to Luke Richardson talk about what he needs out of Lucas Reichel, that's exactly what I see. The difference is Zegras, up until this season, is producing.
Yes, that's the thing. You can live with Lucas Reichel's mistakes if he's pumping in 60, 70 points a year. Luke Richardson is happy to live with 70 points of one-dimensional play, but it's with Reichel not scoring and not doing anything else that you can't live with. And he tried for how many games? 50 games, 55, whatever it was. He gave Reichel every opportunity and said, like, hey, he is learning the two-way game. We're going to try him at center. Overall, we've been happy with the way he's played at all ends. He just needs to produce and needs to be more aggressive. I don't know. I think that if Anaheim's looking to move on from Zegras, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't pick up that phone.
Sure, you call and ask, and when he wants 2 first-round picks and all this stuff, you say thanks, but no thanks.
I would give 2 first-round picks for Trevor Zegras.
You also thought Ryan Reeves was going to fix the Maple Leafs.
Hey, it's fine, but I would do like. Look, you're talking about lottery tickets, and if I'm not giving up a top 3 pick for Trevor Zegras, but one of these middle of the first round picks, they've got a ton of draft capital. What are the odds that one of you get 2? Let's say you get 2 middle or late first round picks. What are the odds that one of those 2 picks turn into a player of the quality of Trevor Zegras for what he's shown his first 3 years in the league?
Yeah, no, I think I don't think you're wrong. I just think for the Blackhawks in the situation that they're in, the way Kyle Davidson is going about this, if they didn't have Oliver Moore and Frank Nazar, coming down the pipeline, then I think you're looking at a position where you might be like, we're pretty thin beyond Connor Bedard in the young forwards department. Maybe you say, you know what, we're going to sacrifice a first-round pick to get Zegras now. I think that makes a lot more sense. But knowing that you have Nazar, all signs pointing to him potentially being in the organization, as an actual under-contract player, at least by next season, and Oliver Moore is probably a year away from turning pro as well. Like, I think the urgency to get that kind of player with Bedard is a little less. So you look at it and you're like, well, we got guys coming, and they're going to be under our control. They're going to be, under the mold that Kyle Davidson is trying to build this team in. So I think would it be great? I think there's potential for that, but at the cost that it would be, I just don't think they're in a desperate situation for that kind of talent.
I don't think first of all, I don't think it's going to take 2 firsts if Anaheim is truly soured on him. I just look, I am enamored with Nazar and I'm enamored with Moore, but as with any first round pick or any draft pick at all, you don't know what they're going to be in the NHL. You don't. Trevor Zegras, again, he's banged up this year. We're a year removed from him being one of the most exciting players in the game. He was being mentioned not in terms of talent, but in terms of exciting players that can't miss TV with Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid. I'm not saying he's that level, but he was in that, like, Trevor Zegras is must-see TV, offensive skill, the future of the league. He's on the cover of NHL 23. He's a star, and he's got 1 year where he's hurt and not great. And Brandon reminds me here, he's playing for Pat Verbeek's team. Pat Verbeek is a weirdo. Like, he's a massive hard ass, and he's probably got a hard on in a bad way for Trevor Zegras, and it's not a good situation for him. I don't know. I just think that everyone this year has been so quick to crap on Trevor Zegras. Like, my God, look at the sample size. Look at what the guy's done in his career. He's hurt this year. He's having down year, of course, but to just dismiss it as no is foolish. I mean, I think that's showing like way too much faith and maybe a little too much of buying the hype on Chicago's own prospects, because we don't know what Nazar is going to be. We don't know what Moore is going to be. We're hopeful, but there's a reason that 17 other GMs passed on Oliver Moore when he was sitting right there, right? What was he pick? 18th, 17th, 19th. So and Frank Nazar was there. Like, they're not sure things. And if they are, and if you happen to have 3 Trevor Zegrases on your team, great. Get on the phone and go get some more assets and trade for a need. But to just dismiss him is, I don't know. I think Trevor Zegras is going to make somebody in Anaheim look real dumb when he gets traded to another team.
Maybe.
Anyway, this is not ANHM.
Next.
Good stuff. Are we going to do more? Should we,
yeah, let's keep going. Let's do one more, and then we'll take a break.
All righty. All right, so let's get back to these. What do we got here? We got a two-parter here from Colin, Hockey Fan 98. What do you think our goaltending situation looks like either next year or the year after? Mrazek is signed for 2 more years, obviously, but Soderblom is only under contract through next season. If his play continues through next season, who backs up Mrazek? And he continues, it's obviously too early for a Comesso call-up, but do the Hawks turn to free agency, a trade perhaps for a cheap goalie, or do they turn to Stauber? I think I'd prefer the latter, but what do you all think?
They trade for Linus Ullmark.
And they got a great 1-2 combination. I think they're just going to sign some veteran next year to back up Mrazek.
Well, as we've covered, the free agent goalie market is all former Blackhawks, basically.
Right. Soderblom is signed for next year.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if they run it back.
But for how he has played this year, do they go back to Mrazek, Soderblom in the NHL next year again?
I don't know. I mean,
you got to see how he finishes.
Yeah.
He seemed to be getting more. Maybe it was just
his last start was
he getting
better.
more work in practice today than Mrazek, or did I just imagine
Not that I noticed. No. I mean,
I would not start him against Colorado.
His last start was better. I think if they go back to Mrazek, Soderblom next season, keep Stauber and Comesso in Rockford again for another year. I wouldn't really have a problem with that, but I mean, given what Soderblom has shown you, like, what are you going to give Mrazek 65 starts next year? Like, it's, this again, next year is not really a go for it contention year, but you still have to give the guys playing in front of these goaltenders some confidence in who's behind them. Mrazek has done that. Soderblom is not. So it's too early for Comesso. I think Jackson Stauber is a fine guy, but I don't think he's answering anything in net for the Blackhawks. So do you go out and get a free agent that didn't formerly play for this organization? Maybe. Maybe what happens at the trade deadline, this year, or maybe at the draft or something, is getting a veteran goaltender that's on an expiring deal, and you have some competition for the backup spot between them and Soderblom. So I don't know. I think it's one of the, I guess, less consequential positions right now, because you have Mrazek. He's giving you some hope for the next 2 years, and you have Comesso coming up. You have Guyon in the system as well. So there's a future there, and it's just going to take some time to get there.
Yeah, if you don't want to do Arvid Soderblom again next year, here's your top goalie free agents. Matt Murray out there, who apparently is like alive again. You can have Ilya Samsonov, no thanks. Chris Dredger is available.
That's a veteran guy.
Yeah, but he's got injury problems. Kaapo Kakkonen is an interesting guy from the Sharks.
Is he an RFA or a UFA?
He is a UFA.
Get a flyer on him.
27 years old. He was a guy that I was kind of hoping when the Blackhawks were trading Marc-Andre Fleury to the Wild, they'd get back in return.
Yep.
I watched a lot of his games in the AHL. Kevin Lankinen's out there. I mean, he's basically Finnish Arvid Soderblom. Eric Comrie, another veteran.
There's a veteran.
Laurent Brisson.
There's a
Would
veteran.
you like him?
There is a
He's got good numbers this
career
year, though.
backup.
Yeah, but that dude. But being Connor Hellebuck's backup, he is 8-4 with a 2.28 GAA and a 928 save percentage.
there you
I'll
go.
take that.
That's playing with the Jets.
Yeah, exactly. Antti Ranta, no thanks. Too ouchy. Love the guy, but can't stay healthy. This Phoenix Copley or Anthony Stolars, do they excite you? Cam Talbot.
None of them excite, but a
Talbot.
lot of them just check the box of being a
NHL
backup
All-Star
on a bad
Cam
team.
Talbot. Yeah, I mean if you get a guy, like I said, like if you get a guy that's a veteran that can push Soderblom to perform and earn the backup spot behind Mrazek, because you still have faith in Soderblom and want him to get the good out of him and maybe sign him for a little extension himself, fine. And then if it doesn't work out, then you have two goalies that have expiring contracts instead of one. Whatever. Like it's again with Mrazek getting the extension, he's the starter until the next wave is here.
The backup goaltender next year is the least consequential position on the team. It doesn't matter. And if it's Soderblom again, fine. Windy City Hockey says Alex Stalock. I say, hell yes, bring back Alex
bring him
Stalock.
back.
Why not?
Jay Bird's Music was asking that if Guyan was going to be in the Ice Hogs next year. No.
He's gotta go to college.
Long time before we even were. He's not even in college yet.
Yeah.
So we're talking 2-3 years before he's professional.
Yeah.
He's a long way out.
Yeah, chill on Adam Guyan.
Yeah,
Speaking of chilling,
he'll take some time.
crack yourself a nice cold Coors Light.
That was a
My go-to when I want to
phenomenal-
chill. How about you, Law?
Phenomenal segue there. And
Thank you.
yes, there's nothing finer than a nice cold Coors Light.
It's delightful, and when you're stressed out from yelling at salespeople about
I'm
Patrick
stressed.
Kane, or you're stressed out from
Defending Trevor Zegras.
from defending Trevor Zegras, noted bust Trevor Zegras. Sometimes you just need to relax, and when I need to relax and take the edge off, I crack open a nice cold Coors Light. And you know why it's so wonderful? You should know by now. It's cold lagered, it's cold filtered, it's cold packaged
Is it
for
cold?
a smoother finish. It's cold. And when those mountains turn blue, you know it's cold. It's delicious. When it's time to chill, open up a Coors Light. It is mountain cold refreshment, as crisp and refreshing as the lowercase Colorado Rockies. When it's time to chill, Coors Light is the beer I reach for, and you should too. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to, write this down, CoorsLight.com/CHGO Hockey. Again, CoorsLight.com/CHGO Hockey.
It's easy to remember.
Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
It is golden.
'Tis golden.
You know what else is golden?
Golden Richards.
Going to CHGO takeovers and
Hell yeah.
Marty's
Yeah.
and being a diehard. And you really want to be a diehard now, because our next takeover is coming up here in a few weeks. United Center.
March 26th, baby.
March 26th.
Against the
Flames, Blackhawks, or should I say Calgary? Are we allowed to say
Calgary.
Flames? The Calgary Hockey Club is in the Chicago Professional Hockey Arena. And we're going to get lower bowl tickets. You want to sit on one? You ever want to sit in the 100 level for a Hawks game? Well, now you can with us, March 26th. And the cool thing is, these tickets are only available to our diehards for the next couple of days.
Through Thursday.
So we want it to be a diehard only event. So become a diehard.
Yep.
Grab your tickets. Get a free shirt. You'll be able to wear it to the game.
Yep.
If you're not a diehard and you're like, I'll just wait till it hits the general public sale.
It's not going to be there.
General public.
Even if there are tickets there, you're still spending more. You get a 20% discount on your ticket.
Yes.
Not only for that, but for any and all events,
And-
tailgates, Bulls games. We got a lot of baseball takeovers coming this summer. 3 for each team,
Yep.
including a road trip to see the Cubs in Milwaukee. You get 20% off of that. Being
plan.
a diehard, and plus you get access to Jay's Blackhawks beat every week, Mario and I's rebuild report, 20% off merch, the Chicago Locker. Speaking of taking stuff off at the Chicago Locker,
Hey now.
like your clothes, everything is 30% off. Almost everything is 30%, except shirts released in the last 48 hours. Get 30% off all your favorite merch over at chgolocker.com. It's our clearance sale only through tomorrow. You have through Wednesday. So go pick up. If there's a classic shirt you've been wanting to get, you've been wanting to get the CHGO Blackhawks logo, you just haven't thought about it, getting around to it, now is your best chance.
Do it.
30% off all of our merch. It's great time to be a CHGO fan and a CHGO diehard.
So a note about the takeover. As of 11 a.m. today, 10 of the 25 were sold.
Oh.
We have 25. So if you think they're going to be here for Thursday for the general sale, you're mistaken. There's no way. Become a diehard today. Get a free shirt. You can rock it at the game and come join us. Region Rev's going to be there.
Hey,
it's going to be a good time. It's a double anthem night. It's Pride night.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun night at the United Center.
Good stuff.
So make sure you become a diehard. And speaking of diehards, we got a whole bunch of new ones to welcome over the last 24 hours. Welcome back to Wes. Don is with us now. Timmy, Holden, Michael, Ryan, Mike, Ian, Scott, Darius, and Gary. We also have Phil, Zach, Robert, Kyle, Aaron, and David. Sausage fest up in here. Let's get some ladies on board here at
Greg, is it just me, or
Diehards.
should he have read Scott's name before Ian's? That would have been Scott Ian.
Scott Ian?
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed that.
I just read it as it's typed.
Yeah.
My friends.
Go Anthrax.
All right. The band, not the lethal chemical.
To be clear.
Depends on the
Depends
on
who-
the recipient.
Depends on who's opening that envelope.
Oh, that is the FBI knocking on the door. All right, we should wrap up soon. Let's get to a couple more mailbags here before we got to say goodbye.
All right, well, this one.
How many more do we have, by the way?
We have 4 left.
All right, let's rifle through them.
These are, I think we
Quickie,
can get
quickie.
through all these. Okay, this one is interesting. I like this one a lot.
right.
Unbiased Barrows fan. And Chris Chellis mentioned this in his speech on Sunday. He said, also, this happened to me a couple years ago. Did Seabrook's hit on Bacchus spring a cup-winning run for us? I always thought it did. However, whenever I look it up, the year says 2014. Is this a modern-day Mandela effect? It bewildered me when I investigated.
Yes, it was 2014.
The Wakey Wakey was in the 2014 series.
That was the series.
Semifinal to go to the Western Conference final.
They won that series, but then they lost to the Kings.
Yep.
In
That
maybe the
epic
best
series.
7-game series of the Cup run. Like that series, that
Yeah.
2014 Kings.
That felt like
was
the final,
amazing.
for
That was
sure.
that was probably of the 3 Stanley Cup runs. That series, even though it was one of the few that they lost,
Yeah.
that was the best hockey.
It
that
was great.
amazing. So yeah, it did not happen in a Cup winning year, but they did win the next year. So maybe it inspired them to win it in 2015.
There you go.
Perfect.
Next.
Long con. All right, next up, Jacob Barron. Is there really a contest for the Calder Trophy?
No.
The fact that Bedard never lost the rookie point lead after missing 6 weeks should be enough of a factor. Your
Only
thoughts?
people keeping the race alive is a writer in Minnesota who is the burner account for the GM.
It is the too hip thing to do to be pumping the tires for Brock Faber, because it's apparently being seen as uncool to say Conor Bedard is the best NHL rookie right now. And look, like as the question said, like, he never lost the lead in points. And as soon as he stepped back on the ice, it was 6 points in 3 games.
Yeah.
Like, he immediately was just like, "Hey, by the way, I'm still here.
Yeah.
This is my my trophy to win." So, look, like, can you say, "Oh, it's just because of the hype"? Yeah, you can, but when he meets and exceeds the hype, your argument's gone.
Right.
So, and Brock Faber, hell of a season, man. It's not a bad thing to be
No,
the
it needs
second
to
best
be
rookie
a
in the
great
NHL.
player.
Any other rookie year, he's probably winning the
Yeah.
Calder.
Yep.
But
Any other
it's
rookie
not your
year.
year. I like Brock Faber. I wish the Blackhawks had Brock
Yeah.
Faber. Just the obsession over Brock Faber on both sides. The Wild fans pumping their tires, and then the Blackhawk fans' obsession of like, what did Brock Faber do last night? Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
Like,
He's
he's not on our team. Who cares?
It's and there's also not a single fan or analyst in hockey that would make a Conor Bedard for Brock Faber trade. There's, of course, no. And every Minnesota fan, if that was offered, they would all take Conor Bedard happily on the Wild for Brock Faber.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make no mistake. All right.
Moving right along, this
Yes.
is from Efren. Which AHL eligible players currently on the Hawks roster, Vlasic, Phillips, Anderson, etc., do you see being sent down to Rockford, if any, after the regular season ends? Would AHL playoff hockey provide any added benefits to their development?
Not Vlasic.
So here's the other thing too. Those guys will be sent down prior to the trade
You
deadline.
have to be on the
as a
AHL
paper
roster.
transaction.
Paper
at the
deal.
NHL trade line
Before you freak out.
Yeah.
So we'll know.
So
Yeah.
we'll know which guys.
To me, it's just Phillips and Crevier at this point.
Yeah, Phillips and Crevier.
Yeah.
I think
Vlasic's an NHL player. Don't do that to him.
Vlasic's your second best defenseman.
Yeah.
Like he's not going back to Rockford.
Anderson, I think, is an NHL guy now.
Anderson's in the NHL. Zach Sanford, I think he cleared waivers. He's probably headed to Rockford
He's
as
got
soon as
30 days.
As soon as Athanasiou is back in the lineup, Sanford will be the guy that'll head down there. Reichel, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with him, but I feel like he'll be one of those players that either is a paper transaction or he might still be on Rockford's roster.
Still be there. I hope not.
Yeah.
Well, when is the deadline? March
8th.
Oh, well, that's only a
It's
week
like 2
away.
weeks. Yeah.
A little over a week.
Yeah.
So
10 days.
Week from
10 days.
Thursday.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's Phillips, Crevier, Reichel. Those are your guys.
Yeah, I could see them keeping Reichel there for another few days, and then but
and would playoff hockey, being in a playoff run, playoff atmosphere, even if it's in the AHL, be good for the development? Yeah, playing in games that matter, that have those win or go home atmosphere. Yeah, that's good. Good for young players.
Let's rifle through these and wrap up the show here.
All right, so this is our final mailbag Monday on a Tuesday question. This is Dan Battaglia. I like this one. You guys have talked about video review. Here's my solution, especially for offside. Refs can only review the play at either full speed or half speed. If they still can't tell, then the call on the ice stands. No more frame-by-frame video.
I like that.
I'm down with that.
I'm all for getting rid of it completely, but look at it at full. If you couldn't look at it at full speed, if you can't tell,
Yeah, I think it's
then
great.
You can't tell.
Because I hate this frame-by-frame crap. It's
not the spirit of the violation.
Yeah.
You know what would also help if frame by frame was taken out? Seeing if people were wide open or not. Seeing if a wide open lane was there or not.
Yeah.
Because if you pause it for that one split second, it's wide open. But the second you unpause it, oh my God, it's not open anymore.
Yeah, and you
That's
know what?
weird.
You know what you don't get a sense of when you go one single frame at a time.
How fast the play's going?
The speed of the play.
Yeah.
It's really you're making too much sense.
If you want to understand the speed of the play, join us for our takeover March 26th.
Yeah, you'll get
100
a
level.
full-
You really get a feel for
full
the speed of
experience
hockey.
of the speed.
You could all tell Seth Jonesy sucks from right there.
I'm done with replay. I hate replay in sports. The only thing it should decide is if like scoring plays are good in all sports. Does that scoring play count?
Yeah.
That's it. If you can't figure it out and like the offside stuff, I think it's also making the referees a little more lackadaisical. Make the word I meant.
Lackadaisical.
That's the one. It's this Coors Edge, man. It impedes my speech. It's making them a little like, don't worry, if I miss it, they'll just challenge it. We'll get it right eventually. I don't need to make these close calls.
Yeah.
I hate the offside replay. Nobody knows what offside is anymore. Nobody has a clue what goaltender interference is. Forget it. Just replay should be for did the puck cross the goal line or not. That's it. Put the human element back in sports. It's okay.
I'm with you.
Make sports human again.
That's right.
All right, that's the end of our sack.
Our sack is now completely empty.
Sack is deflated.
I haven't said that in a while.
Yep.
Well, now the sack's been empty, we got to get some new floors in here.
Yes, to help our new sacks look good.
Are you telling the people about Empire?
I am
or
telling
am
the people about Empire.
Okay.
Yes,
Cool.
I have it right here.
Perfect.
So people, listen to me tell you about Empire. Empire Today, where you get shop-at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and, most importantly, a low-price guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring, so, of course, they have a ton of copycats out there, but Empire can't be beating on quality, service, speed. So competitors are going to advertise low-quality products that Empire simply won't carry. Empire won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs, and that is just wrong. Best feature about shopping at home, with Empire, besides not having to put on pants, is using their virtual floor designer. And that's how you get to see how your new floors are going to look in the lighting and decor that's already in your home. All you got to do is take a picture of the room, and then the virtual floor designer will show you exactly what the new floors will look like. They service their own warranties. You're not going to have to chase down a manufacturer and find out that company went out of business in 1956. Empire will service their own warranty.
Some old-ass floors.
Yes. Well, there's some old-ass houses out there.
Yeah.
Schedule a free home estimate today. All listeners can get $350 off when they use the promo code CHGO. That's some serious savings right there. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/CHGO for all the details. Or you could just give them a call at 800-588-2300.
That's right.
Everybody knows that number.
And today, as I entered the studio, I was very sad. It's the first day it does not smell like bacon in here.
Yeah, the bacon smells gone.
Since Charlie's last visit, I think we've had the windows open a little bit, probably.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Charlie, come back.
Yeah, Charlie, get back here.
We got to get Charlie back
Bring
in
your
here.
riddle.
And until Charlie comes back, we're just going to have to create the smell of Charlie's bacon at our homes, because Charlie the Bacon Guy is our craft bacon provider. Did you know craft bacon's a thing? You do now. It's made by Charlie the Bacon Guy. He's based out of Woodridge, and he makes craft bacon and bacon jams in over 35 different flavors. They're not all full of preservatives and chemicals and stuff that is not natural. Everything in his bacon is all natural, preservative-free, and order a bunch of it because it's vacuum sealed. It freezes up perfectly. It lasts up to 60 days in the fridge and a week after the seal is broken. 9 months longer than that in the freezer. And the bacon jam, if you can hold out that long, lasts 90 days in the fridge and a year in the freezer. Jeez. But if you're keeping bacon in your freezer that long, you are doing it wrong. The bacon jam goes on everything from eggs to toast, crackers, burgers, grilled cheese, charcuterie boards, cinnamon rolls, pizza, and Charlie's favorite, the spoon. Mm-hmm. Put it on anything, and you can check out the Bacon Vault at charliethebaconguy.com. That shows you every flavor he's ever made in the past. And if it's not available now, give Charlie about 2 weeks, and he can make it for you. They've got awesome merch, beanies, hats, T-shirts, stickers, and coffee mugs. We saw a preview with some of the new merch ideas he's got. They look awesome. Yeah. Some of the flavors for now are maple pepper, chorizo, French toast, honey chipotle, Cajun, jardiniere, raspberry chipotle, and the Maui Wowie. Bacon jams are original, bourbon, mango habanero, and cherry jalapeno. I had all of them. They're all great. Starting now, you can save 10% on your order at charliethebaconguy.com. When you use code CHGO at checkout, you can pick it up, which is the most efficient way, or he can deliver to you, meet you halfway, or even ship it. He makes the bacon so you can bring it home. Get in touch with him, charliethebaconguy.com. He's on Instagram at charliethebaconguy. Shoot him an email, charliethebaconguy@gmail.com. Get yourself some bacon. And I will say, it makes a wonderful gift.
It does.
It makes a great gift.
Mm-hmm. Did that for Christmas this year.
Yep, and I bet everybody absolutely loved it.
I'm sure they did.
Yep, it's great. It's thoughtful. It's really good stuff. So charliethebaconguy.com. All right, we're going to be back tomorrow. I know we're going to have Pete Blackburn from the What Chaos podcast on the show, so we'll do a little bit of Around the League. We will have some post-practice updates as we always do as well. So before you go, make sure you smash that like button for us. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube page. Same deal on your favorite podcast app. Like, subscribe, follow, all that stuff, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So until tomorrow at 2:30, we'll talk to you. Thanks to Lawrence for running the show. This has been the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.